People are demanding answers this week following the deadly tragedy at the Astroworld Music Festival in Houston. 8 people were killed when a crowd pushed forward after rapper Travis Scott took the stage. The show continued for almost 40 minutes after officials declared a mass casualty event. But police are defending the decision not to stop the concert earlier. Lilia Luciano has the latest from Houston.
That's okay with you real quick.
Cell phone video shows a panicked festival goer at Friday night's Astroworld concert pleading for help from a camera operator, but the show would go on. Authorities say when Scott took the stage at approximately 9 p.m., the crowd of more than 50,000 rushed forward. People began passing out in the crush. Video shows first responders treating the injured, but authorities say they were overwhelmed. By the end of the night, at least 8 people would die, with more than a dozen hospitalized and scores injured as the crowd surge spun out of control. Kayla J. was there and says she tried to shield a man who had fallen to the ground, but she now fears he's among the dead.
I just held his hand until he let go.
Roughly half an hour after the show started, it was declared a mass casualty event. Later on, Scott stopped his set to help someone in the crowd, but started again soon after. His show didn't end until about 10:10 p.m., almost 40 minutes after the mass casualty event had been declared. On Saturday, Houston Chief of Police Troy Finner defended the decision.
We have to worry about riots. It was a cooperation and discussion between promoters, our fire department, the police department.
Scott posted this video on Instagram the next day saying he was unaware of the severity of the situation in the crowd.
I'm honestly just devastated, and I could never imagine anything like this just happening.
But some survivors say authorities did not do enough, like Basil Baig. He was at the festival with his brother Danish, who was killed in the crowd.
He got lost in the crew. I looked over my shoulder, he was there 1 second, and he was He did not deserve this. He did not deserve this. He did not deserve this. Okay?
Both Scott and the concert promoters at Live Nation say they've been cooperating with local authorities, and now police say their narcotics unit became involved after a security guard alleged that he was pricked on the neck with a needle and had to be resuscitated with Narcan. However, at this point, there's no evidence to indicate that that incident had anything to do or triggered the deadly crowd surge. Lilia Luciano, CBS News, Houston.
A father and son from Arkansas who was at Friday's concert are glad to be back home and safe. Dan and Braden Smith say they are mortified by what happened in Houston, describing the experience as pure chaos.
We're just getting trampled, and people beside me and behind me were passing out and then dropping to the floor, and then that space that they had would be pushed in.
The Smiths were supposed to be in Houston for a few more days, but they decided to come home after what happened. In 2017, Scott was arrested for encouraging similar behavior at a show at the Walmart Amp in Northwest Arkansas. 12:05, turning now to the fight against COVID-19. President Biden's vaccine mandate for workers faces a new challenge before it takes effect in early January. A federal appeals court in Louisiana temporarily halted the requirement that companies with 100 or more employees ensure they are vaccinated or test for COVID weekly. The administration says it's confident the rule will withstand legal challenges. The country is ramping up vaccine distribution when it comes to the recently approved shots for kids 5 to 11. As of this weekend, the CDC says more than 10,000 under the age of 12 received their first shot since the kids' vaccine was greenlit last week. After a slow rollout to start in Arkansas, things are picking up this week. The Department of Health runs 75 local health units, and according to ADH, those clinics, along with a number of Arkansas pharmacies, received their shipments either late last week or over the weekend. The White House previously said by this week they will have distributed enough kids-sized doses for every eligible child to be vaccinated. And if you're wanting to get your child vaccinated, the Department of Health is holding clinics the next 3 days, and no appointment is necessary. Local health units in all 75 counties will be offering the shot to kids 5 to 11 from 8 a.m. to noon. These clinics run through Wednesday, and again, no appointment necessary. You are asked to bring your ID and insurance card if you have them. Like every new vaccine rollout from the last year, people have a lot of questions. The dosage for children in the 5 to 11 age range is about a third of the adult dosage and is only approved for kids who are at least 5 years old. But why is the vaccine approved for age ranges and not by a child's weight? Megan Rivers is verifying that for us this afternoon.
Our sources for this story are the FDA and Dr. Allison Agu from Johns Hopkins Children's Center. The FDA authorized the emergency use of the Pfizer vaccine for children ages 5 to 11 earlier this week. The vaccine was found to be 90% effective in children that age range. So why is the COVID-19 vaccine approved by a child's age and not their weight?
This concept of being based by age range is not actually unusual, right? And so when they studied, what you want is the dose that will get the response that will, in this case, neutralize or be able to protect. And this dose happened to work for this age range.
Which brought on the question, what could potentially happen if you take a dose not approved for your age range?
In some cases, if you give somebody a dose that's too high, you may have a more robust response than you need to, and that could be more likely for side effects.
Parents across the metro region have already started vaccinating their children. Lindsay Oles says her 5-year-old son Finn got his first dose this week.
You know, we just believe in the herd immunity. Like we're just doing our part, and you know, he's around kids all the time, and we want to be able to go out and enjoy our life.
So we can verify children should only get vaccinated if they are at least 5 years old.
More than 40% of consumers say they are willing to go into debt for the holidays this year. That's according to creditcards.com. Of that group, nearly half say they will do it to make themselves happy. And more than 40% say they will pile charges on the plastic to make a loved one happy. Speaking of holiday shopping, retailers are starting to announce their Thanksgiving and Black Friday plans. Last year, a lot of stores closed on Thanksgiving because of the pandemic, and several of them are planning to do the same this year. The big ones that will keep their doors closed include Walmart, Target, and Costco. Some that are staying open, Kroger, Walgreens, and Dollar General. You can find the full list on thv-at-noon.com. So that means you're going to have to get everything you need for Thanksgiving meals a little bit earlier, but doing that can actually be a challenge in and of itself. You've probably noticed empty shelves at the grocery store. I mean, it's nothing like we saw last year with the whole toilet paper fiasco, but not everything is back to fully stocked. THV 11's Mercedes McKay shows us why this is happening and when the issue could possibly end.
Shelves are obviously fully stocked, but it's specific brands that people are having a hard time finding.
There's a certain brand of ice cream I can't get, and there's certain kind of pickles I can't get.
It almost feels like deja vu back to the beginning of COVID-19. As people walk through the grocery store aisles, some of their favorite food staples just aren't there.
I cannot find Good Belly yogurt anymore.
From Gatorade to cheese, the search to find certain items is making some shoppers' trip to the grocery store a little longer.
It's caused me to pop from store to store to see if one has it and one doesn't.
With workers constantly restocking goods, then why are we still seeing empty shelves, and why is it so random?
There are allocations that are being put out by most of the manufacturers, and then which in turn put the wholesalers on allocation.
Steve Good with the Arkansas Grocers Association describes it as hit or miss. Sometimes it depends on when the trucks are rolling into the store's parking lot.
If you get a delivery on Tuesday, you may get product that your sister store right down the road in your same company doesn't get if they get a Wednesday delivery.
And if you can't find your favorite Diet Coke flavor, Good says it may be because it's not the company's most popular item.
Things that are not big sellers, they're not going to package because they've only got limited packaging availability.
While experts aren't sure when this will end,
I'm afraid to answer that question now because even the articles that I've read, people are much smarter than me. Nobody's really saying, hey, we're out of the woods on X date.
They say you may just have to improvise next time you're out shopping.
So you've not found your crumbled blue cheese yet?
Not yet, but I did find a block, and I figure how hard is it to crumble blue cheese, you know?
Mercedes McKay, THV 11 News.
Now, there is some good news. Things like ham and turkey seem to be fully in supply for now. Some concern about those turkeys, though, so keep an eye on it. But that will help when making your list for Thanksgiving.